So we're going to be talking about how you get certified to become a peer supporter at the VDRC. I want to start off by asking exactly what is peer support?
Peer support can be described as a supportive relationship between two people with the same lived experience or similar. You can also just define it as a supportive relationship. Peer support at its core is something that happens between two friends grabbing coffee often. The kind of peer support that we do at the center is a more formalized version of that.
What's the difference between therapy and peer support?
Therapy and peer support are quite different. They're not better or worse from each other, but rather they utilize different skill sets and kind of have different goals. A therapist has gone through a lot of training and possesses the tools to navigate through complex issues, such as trauma. A peer supporter, on the other hand, the whole point of peer support can be disclosing and sharing your story in a way that is powerful and inspirational for others.
What does a peer supporter exactly do?
So a peer supporter at their core just listens, essentially. Some peer supporters don't always disclose their lived experience hugely. They might, and at the Disability Resource Center here, they're more likely to because people are struggling very specifically with their experience of disability. We'll negotiate the relationship between them and their peers. So they'll sit down at the very beginning and they'll talk about, hey, what do you want out of this? What are you looking for? And that can give them an idea of things that they might spend their time together doing. They might talk about brainstorming some skills or navigating barriers.
Speaking of the peer support training, what does that look like and how does that be approached?
So the peer support training is something that people may have seen advertised on our website or in the window of the Disability Resource Center. The peer support training certificate is modeled after the provincial curriculum for peer support, which is through something called Peer Connect BC. I've taken that curriculum and modified it to be more accommodating to disability. The provincial curriculum is really good. It just talks more about addiction and mental health, and because we're a cross-disability resource center focusing on mental and physical disabilities, I wanted it to be more expansive. The training program is about 25 to 30 hours. It's one 3.5-hour session per week for 8 weeks, and we talk about many different topics relating to peer support, such as boundaries, trauma-informed care, self-determination, goal planning, things like that. The training program provides people with knowledge and skills based around the core values of peer support. So when someone passes the certification, we have open discussions where there's no right or wrong answer around some of the core values of peer support. And I look to those to see how people are grasping and understanding the concepts that we're learning and how they're gelling with that specific person. And then at the end, there is an assessment between me and that person, which is like a mock scenario, and then I might ask them some questions about their experience and thoughts around peer support, and then I give the certification if I feel that person possesses an understanding and is capable of providing peer support in a responsible manner.
And how do you get matched with your person that you want to support?
The process of matching happens. A peer supporter receives their certification. I sit down and I have a talk with them, and I ask them about what kind of people they'd like to be matched with. Do they have boundaries? Do they have preferences? Would you really like your peers to have a similar lived experience? Do you have preferences regarding age? Those are some things that help guide me towards what a person would like. I also go a little bit based off of gut instinct and see how people's demeanors might interact with each other. And then I also take into account what the person asking for peer support wants. So it's kind of a mix of various factors.
Who is eligible to become a peer supporter?
Pretty much anyone over the age of 16 who has a self-identified disability and lived experience with that disability.
What qualities do you look for in a peer supporter?
For me personally, I look for someone who is a good listener, who possesses a strong sense of empathy, who has a decent understanding of certain basic concepts like boundaries, what it means to be trauma-informed. There's a lot of things that we cover in the training that expand on these concepts, but there are base characteristics that I look for in a peer supporter. Someone who's also able to hold heaviness. That is, people who come to seek peer support are often going through a very difficult time, and a person who's providing peer support needs to be able to hold space for that. So there's kind of some responsibilities that fall on a peer supporter, not just in the manner of behaving ethically, but also just being able to lead a conversation a little bit.
How is the training delivered?
The training is delivered through a hybrid model, so you can attend either through Zoom or in person, which provides more accessibility for everyone. And the classes are usually about 3 to 5 people.
How does someone apply to become a peer supporter?
Basically, we have an online application form. You list out your basic information. You need to provide 2 references, and then you would answer a couple questions about what's your lived experience around disability, why are you interested in peer support, if you have any familiarity with that concept, what does it mean to you? You can gain access to that form. You would email me support@drcvictoria.com. You can also phone me and leave a voicemail. So I'm going to put it in the description or just somewhere here. And then I will send you a link to the application.